Here we go. 39-yard attempt. Hash mark left side. Lions trying to pick up the victory. Prater's ready. Mulebach to snap. There it is. Fox the spot. Kick away. It is up.
Sir.
And it is good. And the Lions have won it.
Yes, sir.
The Lions have gone to the desert and picked up victory number 1.
Yeah. Welcome to Big Boof Bets. It's the Get That Money podcast. As always, I am Nate Stephenson, joined by Mr. Big Boofy Scureman and Tony T-Bone Guarino. How is everybody doing on this week 4?
I'm doing pretty good, man. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to share a little story about, how my week went a little bit here.
Oh, please do.
Okay, so Nate comes over for the games, and Tone was able to come over for the first time this year, which was great. And during the 1 o'clock slate, not necessarily our locks or anything, but some of the picks that we had kind of disagreed on during the week are all going my way. I was like, I said I like the Redskins with the points, I like the Raiders with the points, and everything's looking great. And I'm talking all kind of smack on Nate. Now, anybody that knows me knows that when I start talking smack, there's a certain power in the universe that takes over and things start to go the opposite direction. And sure enough, that happened, and it ends up being the Patriots end up covering, and I lose the other one, and then I lose our pizza box matchup with the Ravens and the Chiefs last night. So I was a little upset about that. But on the flip side, I was able to make some money this week, so I had a solid week. We had some good picks with the podcast that I obviously mirrored, and then had a decent week with player props. I went 4 for 4 with those, and so just kind of the story of two sides for me. Being able to talk smack on my buddy didn't necessarily go great, but did get to make some money. And just as a little bit of a side note, I would like to say, quarterback rushing yards, taking the over, has been very profitable for me so far this season. That's something I normally don't get in until like 12:30, so like a half an hour before the game, so we really can't share them, but just something to kind of keep an eye out. If you see a number you like, quarterback rushing yards, hitting the over has been a bit of a trend for me that I do think is worth sharing with you guys.
You and me definitely never talk shit at all with each other. Like we definitely,
that never happened.
Definitely have a good time doing that. But you're right. It's so funny because, like, on one hand, I'm probably one of us is probably a little pissed if stuff isn't going our way, but I always take the good with the bad when you start talking shit because, like you said, that normally means good things are about to happen for me if we're head to head. So I never complain about that. Fortunately, Boof, I really wish it was reversed this week because, as most people know, I've said many times I'm a parlay heavy bettor. I may have got the better on the smack talk end, but I did not on the betting end thanks to the Arizona Cardinals crapping the proverbial bed this week. So that hurt me pretty bad. So didn't have a great week personally because of them, but still pretty good on the year. So, give and take. We'll get it back.
How you doing, Tom?
Is Atlanta and anywhere near where this impending rising of the sea level can put them underwater too?
I'm sure we could carve out that like a little like half moon with Atlanta and Jacksonville, and we can just kind of do the Bermuda Triangle for you.
Yeah, I don't know my geography all that well anymore, even though I am practically in first grade these days. With our new virtual learning environments, you'd think I know a little bit more. But despite
that's the fourth grade class,
despite teams like the Falcons, well, not really. I mean, partially their fault, but also you got BDN up there coming in and saving the day as well. That not a lot you can do about that, I guess. But besides that, still a positive weekend and plenty to look forward to week 4 here.
Amen.
Oh, amen, man. I will say this, though. I mean, if you can take solace in the fact that Atlanta's doing a pretty good job of syncing themselves every week. So I don't know. They might do it for you.
That's a fair point.
With that, you want to hit the locks from last week there, Boof?
We can do that. Last week we had 7 locks for you. We went 4-3, bringing our season total to 10-10. Easy one to do the math on. That is a cool and cozy 50% rate. As I was explaining to Nate, we were one game under in week 1, even Steven in week 2, one game over in week 3. We're trending all the way up. By the time we hit week 15, baby, we're going to make it all kind of units. So just got to stay on the same trajectory here.
Oh, yeah, man, absolutely. Early season research mode normally pays off for the rest of the year. So I'm liking the way we're trending for sure.
For sure. But anyway, we had the Falcons -3 against the Bears. The game started great. They were up by 16 late in the game. Nick Foles comes in, and I said to Nate right away, we should consider betting the Bears right now and just saying, oh, crap, we're screwed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I wish we did. I really wish we did, man, because, even just to, hedge and call it even,
Absolutely, because if I can interject 1 sec, I 100% agree because I know we said that to each other. As soon as Foles came into the game, it was like, son of a bitch, Foles is in the game.
Amen, man. I knew it was going to play out exactly how it did, and sure enough, we ended up losing that one. The next one, we had Titans -2.5. Sadly, they won but could not cover the 2.5. They started poor in that game. They were able to come back, but couldn't get quite enough points for us.
Too many missed 2-point conversions.
Yeah. Another very disappointing one for me was Cardinals -5. That was probably the pick I felt best about out of the whole slate.
Oh, I lost a knockout pool because of that.
Yeah, the Lions showed up, the Cardinals didn't, and that was that. What did Murray have, 3 picks in that game?
Yeah.
Very, very frustrating one. Our winners were the Steelers and Titans over 45. We had the Colts -10.5, the Bucks -6, and then the Packers +3.5. So, all in all, 4-3. We'll take that, and looking to do even better this week.
Actually, Boof, too, one more thing that really sucked about that Cardinals game is the 9-team teaser that we gave out last week would have hit if not for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. That would have been a monster one.
Yep. Sucked.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and dive into week 4 here. Let's start on Thursday, as always, with the Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. This is at a pick'em when you're over-under at 40.
Well, speaking of things that suck, it's time to bet against the Jets. What my favorite thing to do. It's as easy as it sounds. The Jets are playing. It's a pick'em, so that means I don't even need to lay any points. So we are going to continue to bet against the trash that is the Jets. I don't care that the Broncos have their third-string quarterback playing. I don't care that the Broncos have injuries on defense. I don't care. The Broncos are still better, even though they're not that great with all the injuries. I'm betting on the Broncos, and I'm also betting on under 40 points because, obviously, as I've stressed all year, Jets, trash. And with all the injuries the Broncos have offensively, I don't expect them to score a lot of points either. So, give me a nice little, 17-10 game. Maybe if the Broncos have a quote-unquote offensive explosion, 24-10 game. But either way, I love the Broncos to win, and my favorite bet of this game is under 40. I really, really like that. I will be hammering that this Thursday.
Yeah, I think Nate's world-famous mathematical equation applies in this game.
Get that crap out of here.
For that reason, I'm going to be staying away for the most part. I will be tacking on the bets that Nate said. I'm going to take Denver, and I'm also going to take the under, and those will be included with some parlays to try and, A, just give me a little action on Thursday because, you got to have a little something in there. And B, just kind of try to pad on my parlays for the week, which if these don't hit, I'll just put those parlays in again without them. So no big deal.
Amen, baby.
All right, so let's go ahead and move over to Sunday and kick things off with the Arizona Cardinals at the Carolina Panthers. The Cardinals laying 3.5 and the over-under at 52.5.
Honestly, I look at last week against the Cards as more of an aberration of still a young and up-and-coming team, a young and up-and-coming quarterback. I still have a lot of faith in Murray, that offense, and Kingsbury. So, yeah, 3.5 here against the Panthers team, who's bottom 5 in the league. I still feel pretty good about it. I think it's a nice bounce back spot, especially the Panthers not having a great defense. So only laying 3.5. Like that a lot. Love the Cards to win. Feel really good about them covering that. I look for them to win by at least a touchdown. So I have no problem laying the 3.5 here. Give me the Cards.
I'm with you, man. I love Arizona. I know they had a down week last week, but I really look for them to bounce back. And I think Carolina is the type of team that is very bounce backable, if you will. So I love the -3.5, and I know we have that as a lock for us this week. Now, beyond that, I will say we are kind of, for the purposes of this podcast, we have to roll with the 3.5 right now. I am going to keep an eye out and hope that I can find it at any point up until Sunday where that goes down to 3. That would be even better because 3 is obviously a big checkpoint for us.
Oh, amen.
But for the purposes of this podcast, I am going to take the -3.5, and I am going to lock it in.
Oh, lock it in. Get that money.
All right. Up next, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Washington football team. Ravens laying 13 with your over-under at 47.
Well, good old WFT is definitely going to be going WTF, I think, about 10 minutes into this game when the Ravens are already up by 2 touchdowns. I do not like the Washington football team's chances in this game at all. I think you can mail this one in at about halftime. The Ravens are definitely going to be coming in pissed off and embarrassed from the national curb stomping put on them by the Chiefs last week. And that's a proud football team in Baltimore that still has high aspirations. So them laying 13, I honestly, I think they're going to cover that in the first quarter. This is going to get ugly, and there's a lot of player props for this game I'm going to be looking into offensively for the Ravens. And I know some other things I also love beyond some player props that, when they come out this week are just as far as the team total for the Ravens. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored here. I know me and Boofy talked earlier about this. The team total is at 30. I love over 30 points being scored by the Ravens. I love over 1.5 touchdowns being scored in the first half. It's juiced up to -166, but still, I think that is you can take that to the bank. The Ravens are going to score at least 2 touchdowns in the first half. And then on one more I really like in this game as well is for the Ravens to score first and win. And that's only -144. So I'm not even scared of the Redskins winning the kickoff or winning the coin toss at the beginning of the game. I still think you're looking for a 3 and out or a very highly probable at some point, probably multiple points in that game, a Dwayne Haskins interception. So loving a ton of stuff for the Ravens game. I can't wait for the player props to come out to look at those as well. But this is a total beatdown by the Ravens.
I'm with Nate on this. I love the -13. I also love Baltimore to go over 30 points. And I just expect Baltimore to steamroll them. It's going to be a beatdown. And both of those picks are locks for us this week.
Oh, lock them in. Get that money. Twice.
All right. Up next, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys laying 4.5 in the over-under at 55.
I'm going to keep this very simple. I don't trust either of these teams right now. And the only thing I would mildly entertain is the over here. But I have a personal mind block to trusting the Browns ever since I trusted them last year to be good. And that was my first mistake. So the Browns are definitely one of those teams for me to ever trust them. They have to show me. The only thing that would make me trust the Browns at all is if they're playing the Jets, which is just echoing what Boofy said last week. So beyond that, the Browns ain't playing the Jets. I don't trust them. Pass.
I love the over in this game. It's one of my favorite picks of the week. Cleveland has scored 34 and 35 points in each of their last 2 games. The Cowboys have scored 40 and 31. Now, the totals of the games that the Cowboys played in, they were in a 79-point game against the Falcons and a 69-point game against the Seahawks. And for that reason, I love the over.
I hear you, Boof. It's definitely sound logic for sure. It's just when it's your money, and I'm sure that you guys would agree with me that when I'm advising people to do something, I'm not going to advise people to do something that I personally wouldn't feel comfortable putting my own money on. And for me, I just have a hard time trusting the Browns until I see a certain level of trustworthiness. So I don't hate your logic, but for me, I can't do it. Can't trust them to score.
Just, I guess, just as a counterpoint, if you will, for me, Washington's defense is significantly better than Dallas's, and Cleveland was able to put up 35 on them. Now, of course, some of that is aided by Mr. Haskins giving them the ball. Have to concede that. But I don't know. Again, they're over 30 points in the last 2 weeks. I feel plenty confident that we're going to see some points in this game.
Fair enough.
Up next, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Chicago Bears. Colts are laying 2.5, and the over/under at 44.5.
Boof, I'm really upset.
Why is that?
Because, damn it, now that BDN is in a quarterback for the Bears, it's so much harder to bet on Bears games. Like, if Bitchke's in there, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get less than 250 passing yards, which has been a great prop I've been hammered. And they're going to suck. And if they win, it's probably because they're playing the Falcons. That's it. So now I actually have to give the Bears potentially give the Bears some respect. They have a legitimate quarterback potentially back in the fold if it's starting quality Nick Foles as opposed to backup quality Nick Foles. And right now, last week, I saw starter quality Nick Foles. And did you guys hear the story that the touchdown that won the game for them to Miller, like very quickly in the huddle, Foles goes to Miller. He's like, hey, if it's an all-out blitz, I want you to run to the L. The Miller goes like, what are you talking about? What? He's like, if it's an all-out blitz, run to the L in Atlanta in the end zone. So sure enough, they snap the ball. It's an all-out blitz. Like Foles gets clayed in like under 3 seconds, lets the ball go as he gets clayed, and it lands like hits Miller like in stride on the L in the end zone for the go-ahead and winning touchdown. And I heard that story. It was like, damn, man, like the legend of BDN is just a never-ending gift and continues to grow. Doggone it, man. I got to freaking start giving the Bears respect. So as a result of that, I was going to go with the Colts minus 2.5 if they were facing the Bears with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. But since they are not, I'm going to pass the game.
So on Fox Bet, I have the Bears at +3. And because of the quality of play that I saw out of Nick Foles last week, I kind of like the Bears here. Indianapolis did lose their only game on the road this year. That was also against Jacksonville, who we do not consider to be the highest of quality of teams. I think the Bears with Foles are better than that. And I like them to be able to get the win at home, to be honest with you. And I'll definitely take them with the +3.
All right, fair enough. I can't bring myself to say like and Bears in the same sentence yet. Maybe in a couple weeks, maybe after I see some consistency from Mr. Foles, that he's all the way back and he's starter quality Nick Foles. But until I see that, I'm going to wait and see.
Yeah, I understand that. It feels a little weird even saying it myself, but that's where I'm at this week.
All right, well, let's see if you like a different animal. We'll move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals laying 3 and the over/under at 49.5.
Equation applies. Pass.
Well, Tone, as a matter of fact, I do like a different animal here. Despite the equation applying, I do like Jacksonville +3. Cincinnati obviously just came off of a tie. Joe Burrow got hammered in that game multiple times. I imagine he's going to be feeling a little sore coming into this one. And Jacksonville's coming with, what do they got? They got about 10 days of rest. And Cincinnati obviously went the full distance in overtime. And I like the Jags to be able to cover +3 here.
You know what, Boof? Something just hit me here. Do you think right now that the Jaguars are a better team than the Eagles?
Yes.
Wow. The crazy part is I'd have a hard time disagreeing with that, with as injured as they are. So, yeah, I can't fault your logic. If you made me take a side, I'd lay the 3 with the Bengals just because I like them more offensively. Both defenses ain't that great, in my opinion. But, yeah, still passing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucks laying 7.5, and you're over under at 43.5.
Like the Bucks -7 here a lot. Week by week, I just see them getting better offensively. And that defense still looking very, very solid and continuing to grow as well. I like the improvement they showed on defense last year. It just seems to have carried over and continuing to grow this year. So honestly, the crazy part is it's the Bucks in certain ways are mirroring, which is a scary thing, some of the qualities of those Brady teams with the Patriots. But they have more weapons. They have a good defense. They're starting to play more responsibly on offense now that they're starting to gel, and they're just churning out points and churning out yards and churning out first downs. And you have that, I think, the risk it biscuit mentality of Arians and kind of check down responsible play that has really been a hallmark of Brady offenses. I think you're seeing a nice mesh there. And with the talent they have on offense, I just see them continuing to get better and better week after week. So you combine their defense and their improving offense, and we're only giving 7 to a Chargers team without Derwin James, without Ingram rushing the passer, a Chargers team that just lost to the Carolina Panthers last week, and they are starting a rookie quarterback only in his 3rd game. Bucks have time to prepare for that. I like the Bucks -7 a lot. I think that is a great bet, and I will be on that all day.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on this one, brother. I like the Bucks as well. Godwin went down with a hamstring last week. We'll see what his availability is. He's probably not going to play. If he does, the hamstrings normally keep you from being 100% 1 week later. But the thing is, if you actually watch the Bucks play, Brady seems to like throwing to Scotty Miller more than anybody else, unless they're within like 2 yards. Then he'll finally toss one up to Mike Evans. So I don't know how much he's even going to miss him. And then, like you said, their defense has been great the last 2 weeks. And I expect them to be able to cover -7 here. So I believe we have another lock this week.
I'll lock it in. Get that money.
All right. Up next, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Houston Texans. The Texans laying 4.5 in the over-under at 54.5.
So this is pretty crazy because right now this is one of 2 games on the slate that is kind of up in the air whether they're going to play. The Vikings played the Titans last week, as we know, and are currently, unless things change, I believe are currently not allowed in their practice facility until Saturday, until they are cleared of anyone being infected by COVID. And as of right now, no one has tested positive that I've heard reported on the Vikings, which is great. So, and that I have heard as well that the NFL does want to do everything possible to play those games as scheduled on Sunday, and we will get to that other game. So if you're telling me right now there's a really, really good chance that the Vikings might be playing a game on Sunday still with basically no on-field practice time for the exception of maybe a walkthrough on Saturday. And now I actually heard an interview earlier today with a former NFL player saying that is a big deal. Like just walking in cold like that and not getting to see the speed of what you're expecting to experience play out in front of you in practice is something that could play huge in that game. which makes a heck of a lot more sense why, as this news was coming out throughout the day, that the Texans line climbed from -3 up to -4.5. With the way both these teams have been playing, over 4 makes me a little uncomfortable. I like the Texans to win, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they even blow them out, considering the current circumstances. But with so much uncertainty with the game, with the way these teams have been playing, I definitely can't recommend in good conscience for you to lay that many points with the Texans.
Yeah, man. On Fox Bet, this game isn't even available. So we'll see if they do, in fact, end up playing it. I think your points are all spot on. And if I would have been able to get it at the -3, that's something I could definitely get on board with. But getting above that, I just don't have enough faith in the Texans to cover anything higher than that. Not to say that they can't, but for me having confidence to put mine and everybody else's hard-earned money on the line, I'm not willing to do that. Defending a guy like Deshaun Watson with minimal practice time, like you said, I just don't see it. So I would take the Texans, but I would very much prefer it at the -3.
So now it's also worth mentioning that the Steelers and Titans game is currently off books due to COVID reasons as well.
So yeah, exactly. And I actually was fortunate enough to jump on the Steelers money line before they pulled it off the books today, just in case, because as Tony just mentioned, same deal. That is the other game. They, similar to the Texans, the Steelers were also getting action. They started out at +2 underdogs, and as of today, before it was pulled off the books, they were up to 2-point favorites. So they were giving 2 points. So I was very fortunate to actually get them in a teaser earlier this week when they were getting 2 points. So not upset about that. But same thing, very similar. The NFL wants to play the game. Everything I'm hearing could be a very similar situation with the Titans. The big difference with the Titans, however, is right now at the moment, eight members of the organization, 5 staff members, 3 players have tested positive. They are also not allowed back in their facility until Saturday. So a very similar situation to the Vikings. And on top of that, they potentially could be missing some players as well. And at this moment, we don't know who they are. So big time question marks with the Titans. And it's definitely understandable why people would be jumping on the Steelers here. So if you can find the Steelers on a book anywhere, I definitely think that's a great bet with all the uncertainty, both with who is going to be playing for the Titans and just the lack of practice time. That is a very, very big deal.
All right, yeah. So obviously, with the all the COVID stuff involved with this one, we're just going to have to wait and see where the line is on Sunday and go from there.
All right, so that takes us to our next game that is happening, which is the New Orleans Saints at the Detroit Lions. Saints are laying 4.5, and the over/under is at 54.
I don't know if I want this game to happen. I'm still pissed at both of these teams. Oh man, between the Saints costing me a parlay 2 weeks ago, 2 parlays 2 weeks ago, and the Lions costing me multiple parlays, causing the team I needed to win to lose. I'm pissed off at both of these teams right now. Oh man. Having said that, I would lean for the Saints to win. I don't feel good about the 4. You still don't have a fully healthy Michael Thomas. I'm still not even sure if he's been cleared to play yet this week, it being still only Tuesday when we're recording here. So that's a big one. Saints obviously did not pull out the W last week against the Packers. So, I don't feel good about them. I think they should beat the Lions. I think they're still a better team than the Lions. The Lions just beat one of the best teams in the NFC over the first couple weeks of the season here in the Cardinals. That's something I can't dismiss. They have Kenny Golladay back finally. That's a big deal of their offense. And I just don't feel comfortable about this game. So I'm going to pass it.
Yeah, I'm passing as well. Galladay's back. Like you said, Detroit was able to get the win last week. I haven't been impressed with the Saints this week. And at the same time, I'm not impressed enough with the Lions for me to go their direction. So it's a pass.
Our final 1 o'clock game will feature the Seattle Seahawks at the Miami Dolphins. The Seahawks laying 6.5, and you're over/under at 54.
Two things I feel really good about in this game: Seattle winning and Seattle scoring a lot of points. That's as far as I can go. I can't trust that they're going to cover 6.5, just due to the fact that their defense has been very porous to start the year, and freaking damn Fitzmagic and his backdoor cover magic, black magic, whatever type of magic. It's magic that hasn't worked in our favor very much this year to start the season, at least the first 2 weeks anyway. Miami's getting healthier on offense with Parker getting back to full strength. I think that's a big deal for that offense. So asking Miami to cover basically a touchdown with all of that, I don't feel great about it. I like them to win. I feel good about them to winning. I don't feel great about them covering.
Yeah, I was kind of entertaining the over on this just because Seattle has scored so many points and they've given up so many in each game. They're just a great team to look for overs with. It is. It's like you said, though, it's just Fitzpatrick is such a wild card. So he affects every aspect of this game and every aspect of the bet. And it's too much of a wild card for me to actually make a definitive pick on it. So I'm passing.
Okay, so that takes us into our 4 o'clock games, and we'll kick things off with the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams laying 12.5, and you're over/under at 48.5.
I know this is one of your favorite ones, Boof, so take the reins, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Rams here. Let's be honest. I mean, we like I didn't like the Giants last week. I kind of stayed away from them. But they played the 49ers B squad, and they lost 36-9. Now, I think the Rams are currently better than San Francisco, given everything. And this game is going to be played in L.A., so give me the Rams, minus 12.5, no problem. I love that pick.
Unfortunately, I did like the Giants last week, Boof. And I will definitely.
You had a lock in that one last week, though, Nate.
Yes, that was definitely the check and balance system worked definitely in mine and our favor last week for sure. But that I will definitely chalk that up as one of those definitely early season information gathering games for sure. Definitely not going to be trusting the Giants very much for the foreseeable future for sure. And everything that you said to me earlier, I definitely agree with. I think the Rams minus 12.5 is a pretty strong bet. I think they have rebounded very nicely so far from their subpar 2019 season, looking a lot more like the team we saw in 2018. And you have a Giants team that is going west to play a team that's a hell of a lot better than the team they just got scrubbed by. So I think that's a very good bet. I also like the Rams to cover both the first quarter and first half spreads as well, which I believe are currently sit at 2.5 in the first quarter and 7 for the first half, if you would like to spread yourself all around in this game. So, yeah, I agree. And you want to lock that in, Boof?
Let's lock that in, baby.
Oh, minus 12.5. Lock it in. Get that money.
Up next, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Bills laying 3, and you're over/under at 51.5.
I mean, again, Boof, I defer to you on this.
You know what, man? Last week was the first time I didn't circle the wagons. And the Bills still covered, so I should have circled the wagons. And this week we're circling them again, getting back on the wagon, if you will. And I love the Bills minus 3. Beyond that, Vegas is a little banged up at wide receiver. Their defense has been terrible. Josh Allen's numbers are excellent, but if you've been watching the game, for me, his play has been even better than his stats. He's been awesome, and I expect the Bills to cover this one. One of my favorite picks of the week.
Totally agree. Josh Allen is looking like an early season MVP candidate. He's making great decisions, throwing the ball accurately, using his feet intelligently. Seems to have got those turnover problems under control from the first game of the season. So that's definitely nice to see. The Bills defense had a little bit of a shaky week last week. I like that proud unit to get it back together this week against the Raiders, who are pretty obvious who you have to try to shut down in that offense in Waller and Jacobs. And the fact that you can easily key on who they want to get the ball to is a very, very big deal, especially with a defense as good as the Bills. So I like the Bills to definitely cover the 3 in this game and honestly win more than that. I'll probably I might even sell a couple points to get that pay up a little more in some parlays this week, get a little greedy to see the Bills maybe have a nice little double-digit win. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, definitely love the -3, Boof, and I will lock that in with you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
The final 4 o'clock game for Sunday will be the New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs laying 7, and you're over-under at 54.
Boof, are you ever going to doubt the Chiefs ever again?
Probably, but I really shouldn't.
Well, I know one thing. You should never pizza box the Chiefs with me.
Yeah, you can definitely write that one in blood.
Chiefs! Oh, man. Honestly, I felt like either the Chiefs were just, little Super Bowl hangover maybe early in the season, or maybe even just looking ahead to that game against the Ravens with how they performed against the Chargers in week 2. But they clearly came into that game last week with something to prove. And boy, did they ever. I'm actually upset that I didn't take the Chiefs on the money line. I'm actually kicking myself for that. Like, I was like, oh, just be safe, tease them, take points. Just gotta trust your eyes. You can't let the outside noise distract you sometimes. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Chiefs are awesome. And I do have faith that the Chiefs are going to win this game this week. But it wouldn't surprise me after a big Monday night game, short week, that they don't cover 7 points, because that's not a small number, especially against a team like New England, who unfortunately is still showing to be New England this year. And plus, you still have the mastermind that is Bill Belichick. I'm sure watching junior high film of Patrick Mahomes, still trying to figure out how to see if he can figure out one small tendency to give his defense an extra edge. So, not going to lay the 7, like the Chiefs to win, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it there. I'm caught between kind of 2 rules that I've got. We don't go against Bill Belichick, especially if we're giving him a touchdown. And as you said, I'm not going against Chiefs anymore, so I'm passing.
Okay, so that takes us to the Sunday night football action, which will be the Philadelphia Eagles at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers laying 7, and you're over-under at 45.
Well, I don't feel really good about anything in this game. I would lean to the Niners to win, but that's about as far as I can go. Just because 7 points on either side here was way too much. I don't know if the Eagles are even any better than the Giants. And the Niners just curb stomped the Giants last week. I'm sorry, the Niners backups curb stomped the Giants last week. So I just don't know. I don't feel good about it. So I'm going to pass the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not comfortable taking San Francisco laying 7 with all the backups against a real NFL team. And the problem is, I don't know if Philly qualifies as a real NFL team, given the way they've performed this year. But, I mean, that's still Carson Wentz. And the reality is, I mean, they're only like 1 game out of the division lead just because their division stinks. So they're still very much in the thick of things. They're not just going to mail in the season here. I'm going to be staying away. This is a pass for me.
They elected to take a tie against the Bengals.
Here's the thing, though. People were talking about that decision. It was 4th and 12. And so, like, if they don't get it, the Bengals would have had the ball with, I think, 19 seconds left and, 20 yards away from field goal range. So if we're critiquing the actual decision, I did not have a problem with the decision.
Oh, I understand that. The more is about being in that situation. It's more about being in that.
It's the fact that it came down to that.
Exactly.
All right, so let's finish up the week with our Monday Night Football featuring the Atlanta Falcons at the Green Bay Packers, with the Packers laying 7 and you're over-under at a whopping 57.5.
So 7 either way here, I don't feel great about because these are two really, really good offenses. But I got to say, my favorite bet might be Falcons winning at halftime and losing the game. Like, seriously, I would consider doing that. I know that's out there. I know it's really, really nice odds. I'm sure one of you guys can correct me on that because I haven't seen it yet personally. But
It was plus 550 on Fox Bet, and I think Tone found it at plus 600.
FanDuel has plus 600.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
dude, plus 600. Oh, home run. Dude, I'd put half a unit on that. I mean, seriously, the Falcons have done that the last 2 games. They jumped out to a lead, then blown the big lead in the second half. I wouldn't hate taking a swing at that at all, honestly. But beyond that, nothing I feel great about, so I'm going to pass it.
Just out of sheer anger towards Atlanta, I would like to bet Green Bay here, but we don't bet that way, so I'm passing.
All right, so that wraps up our Week 4 matchups. Nate or Boof, is there anything additional that you'd like to add for the people, of course?
A couple things, but let's hit the locks first.
Oh, we can do that. We've got 6 locks this week. They are the Cardinals minus 3.5, Ravens minus 13, the Ravens team total to go over 30 points, the Bucks minus 7, Rams minus 12.5, and the Bills minus 3.
All right, yeah, that sounds like a 6-0 week, Boof. So let's go undefeated for the first time this year. Let's get a little boost to the season record here, get it going. For my personal additions, I wanted to share with everybody real quickly here. I know a lot of people have heard me say that I do a lot of parlays, and I just wanted to give everybody a little quick overview of how and why I go about that. And basically, I do something I call tier betting, which I will start out literally picking every game, and then I will literally whittle it down to the games I feel the most comfortable with. And even taking it a step further, starting with spreads, a combination of spreads and money lines of everything I really like. And normally it'll end up with anywhere from 2 to 4 teams that I will make in my final parlay with my highest amount of money, with the goal being that if everything else loses, that one parlay wins, and I will either break even or make a little bit of money on the week. So when I say I do a lot of parlays, that's a very, very quick overview of generally how I bet every week. And then plus I'll do a few single bets or some prop bets, just like me and Boof have discussed. And in that line of thinking, obviously the locks this week, if you take out the Ravens team total, we have 5 spread locks this week, and that's the Cards, Ravens, Bucks, Rams, and Bills. And if you put all of those in a 6-point teaser, that would net you odds of plus 400, and we'll get the Cards to plus 2.5, the Ravens to minus 7, Bucks minus 1, Rams minus 6.5, and Bills plus 3. Just that's a small example of just getting games that we already like more in our favor and putting them in a teaser parlay to boost our odds. And then that's one of those things, if personally speaking, if you only like 2 or 3 of them, then my advice is just pick 2 or 3 of them and put them in a small parlay and up your bet on it, because obviously you feel the most comfortable about it. You feel the most comfortable and the most confident on that. So that's just a really quick overview of kind of how I go about parlay betting. We can definitely get into more stuff another time because I don't want to run too late this week, but just wanted to share that a little bit with everybody. And if anyone ever has any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me or Boof. We generally will try to answer via text, email, Facebook message, whatever. So hit us up.
Well, if nobody has anything else, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Best of luck to everybody, and let's get that money.
Get that money.